Tim, dance.
I got the music in me.
I got the music in me too. Hello, everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Wendy Stuart.
And I'm your host with the most, Tym Moss. How are you?
Oh my God. How are we today, Tim? Are we like a little sleep deprived?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, we are a lot sleep deprived. We had an amazing memorial, a tribute to my husband who passed. I think it's 7 weeks now, Alan Kaplan.
Mm-hmm.
We had it here at Pangea and they were falling out of the door. There were so many people, but the performances and the things that people said, oh my God. And then it was complete with a slideshow put together by our amazing producer, Cameron Cole, and put to music, Forever Young, because Alan always felt he would be forever young. And you know what? I could feel him with us last night.
Oh, definitely. In so many ways.
It was the whole place had his portfolios, work he had done, tear sheets from Gentleman's Quarterly from the late 60s, early 70s, and people from decades of his life, from models he shot 50 years ago to the world he inhabited now. It was really quite something.
Yes, absolutely. It was an amazing evening.
Thank you.
It was an absolutely perfect tribute to Alan.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who performed and who spoke. Tim, I loved you doing the opening. Tim did. I did it my way, but it was the way you sang it.
Uh-huh. Well, again, I sang it for Alan because Alan that's the way he lived his life. And
because he did it his way, right?
Yep, exactly.
Aren't we all dancing to our own drum in this world? I would hope.
Yes, absolutely. But it was just an amazing night. And again, like you said, there was not enough seats for all the people. They
had to stand a little, do them good.
But it was great to just see a lot of people that I had not seen for a very long time, and it was there was just so much love and support, and there was laughter, and there was tears, and there was just pure love, you know. Yeah. And Kyle, your daughter's moving tribute when she was talking, that was just so absolutely lovely.
Well, thank you.
Everything about it was just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, you know what? Giving someone a good send off is really like, you know what? When you say bon voyage, say it big.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I wanted to do last night. And you know what? You have to just keep, if you're a performer or if you're in the arts, you know what? I've been getting calls from grief counselors. How are you doing, Wendy? Yeah. How is Wendy doing? Wendy has been doing stuff with the Imperial Court, bookings. I'm doing my life. And in part of doing my life, Tim and I have a weekend and a half coming up. Tim,
oh my goodness!
Share with everyone how your Saturday is going to start.
Oh, okay. Well, Saturday I've got two performances. One is this new play which is called Salvation, and I'm doing the reading and I star in it. It's an amazing, just very deep, dramatic role. And so I leave that and go directly over to the Copacabana to do 50 Shades of Gay. So I go right from one deep, dark thing over into frivolous and fun, which I love days like that. But trust me, I will be sleeping very well Saturday night.
Well, while Tim is sleeping Saturday night, I'm going from 50 Shades of Gay, where we're launching our video that Ike and I shot on 42nd Street, and we recorded in a real recording studio. Oh my God. I'm like, we sound so good. You know, it goes to show you, like, if you go to a recording studio, they can really make anybody sound good. And we're very excited to launch the video. It's called 42nd Street, and that's all I'm going to tell you. And of course, we'll be doing our usual fun and games at 50 Shades of Gay. But then I have to sashay over as quickly as I can to Night of 1,000 Stevies at Irving Plaza, because the one and only Dorothy Bishop, I got her to audition for it this year. I'm like, Dorothy, you're perfect. You do Stevie Nicks in your Dozen Divas show. She's like, oh, they're not looking for me. I'm like, yes, they are. She sent her video in. Of course, they booked her right away, and they booked her to open the show. What could be better?
Opening the show, Night of 1,000 Stevies.
Yeah. So I will be doing the Battle of the Stevies, which usually happens at around midnight. God damn it, Tim! I have a really long day. That's like so
Yeah,
long.
you do. Yeah, you do.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
I had some shoots this week. I did
Yes.
Father Chris's documentary. We wrapped the shooting of his documentary out in Brooklyn the other day, and then on Saturday I was back out in Queens, back out in Forest Hills to shoot some more scenes for Jed Ryan's Modest Male Exposure 2.
Yes, right. Which a whole bunch of us are in, and that'll be another fabulous launch. You're going to want to come to that. I have a question for you, Tym Moss.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about Father Chris. I don't know anything about him.
Oh, Father Chris was a party promoter back in the day, like with Louis Vega and Junior Vasquez and like all of those DJs. He knew all of them. So we got some interviews from some of them, and I just basically kind of did an overview of his life. And he's got diabetes right now, and his feet are messed up, and yeah, he's going through it. So he wanted to kind of document his life.
I love that. And and I love that you have the history. Who else but you could, document that life, right? Because you've been around the block more than once or twice.
Couple times. Now, also on Monday or yesterday, it was yesterday morning before the memorial, a friend of mine, he's a TV and radio journalist in the Bronx. His name is Gary Axelbank. And he's just the coolest guy. I just adore that man. But he's always said, I would love to come over and do your bridge walk with you. Because as many of you know, I walk over the GW Bridge and back, both for exercise about 3 or 4 times a week, but also to vocalize and to rehearse the songs. And so he came over to do the walk with me over the bridge and back yesterday, and we had a ball. It was very cool. So
that's so cool. I'm glad you explain to people what your bridge walk is. That could be code for anything. People that don't know that you walk the GW Bridge, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hi, I'm Tim. Join me on my bridge walk.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to have our guest today. We don't usually have people come back again so soon. But we had to have them because, first of all, they're fabulous, okay? When you see who they are, you're going to know their show, Whiskey River, which was really such a fabulous show and a metaphor for many things, not to mention the empty whiskey bottles that were all over the stage in a river, which still, I thought, I'm like, this is such like a genius to do something like this, to make a river out of whiskey bottles. And they didn't even take landscaping classes, okay? But they sure did have a good time, I'm sure, emptying those whiskey bottles. Well, there's a brand new play. It's called Crocodile's Lair. Did I say it right? Lair?
Lair, yep.
In Crocodile's Lair, but I said the lair right?
Yep.
I think I have a speech impediment, I swear. In Crocodile's Lair. It's opening at Theater for the New City, May 2nd to May 19th. That's Thursday through Sunday, 8 o'clock on those weeknights. And then Sunday will be a 3 o'clock matinee. It's the first read that they did was at Theater for the New City's New Blood play reading series. I really kind of like that. Okay. And real quick, the storyline, real quick. Crooked Crocodile confronts 50 Cent the rapper. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm going to welcome JC Augustin. And then after that, we're going to bring on Jay Walker. So please, I'm going to skedaddle over. Come on over. This is our playwright.
Hey, JC. Good. And speaking of my bridge walks, you have been on one of my bridge walks.
I feel so honored to have been on a bridge walk.
You think that was Jesse dressed like this on the bridge walk?
Close.
It was some sort of hoodie thing, but certainly not my Estee Lauder scarf.
No.
Well, hold on, Chris. Can we show the whole outfit to our audience? We have a lobster held together with a safety pin on a necklace. I like the vest. Have you ever been a school crossing guard?
No, but if I could just name drop for a second,
please.
This is from the old Patricia Fields store.
So
not the old one, the one on the Bowery,
right?
But yes, I thought I'd represent with some cool beautiful New York culture which is always so inspiring here.
Well, and you are somebody that continues to create New York culture, and I want to thank you for that.
Coming from you, that's really nice.
Well, thank you. And please, I just want to point out, in case you can't see, Allie bit me.
Dude, just remember, the pain is happy. The pain is happy.
So the crocodile's lair. So I need to know, because I feel like I just saw you in Whiskey River. Were you working on this concurrently, or this has been? Where was this in the process?
Well, Whiskey River actually came out first, but I'd started on In Crocodile's Lair a few years before that. It was just part of a writing workshop that I was in, and it was a suggestion by the playwright saying, "Well, why don't you write about animals?" And that started the whole thing going. And I live uptown and I ride a bicycle. So when I ride my bike uptown along the river, you see some wildlife, actual wildlife, not just people in the woods, but you see like the one that really got me were skunks. And I thought, wow, skunks live in New York.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And they're really cute and everything, but then I'm thinking, don't get too close. They're pretty dangerous. And but that inspired me to write this whole like scene of a skunk talking with Barbara Walters at Chez Josephine, and
of course,
and then that turned into like more characters, and Barbara Walters makes a little appearance in my play, and she's with us, but yeah, so it's been a crazy process. It started with In Crocodile's Lair, then Whiskey River, but Whiskey River got produced first.
Well, that's a good point that you mentioned that, because as a writer, right, you're prolific. You never know which is going to come first. And Whiskey River got rolled out. It was great. It was a really great show.
Yeah. Thank you.
But obviously this one was totally ready to go, right?
No, it's always nothing's ever ready.
Nothing's ever
ready. Exactly.
I was just being nice.
Tim, when you put in your look together, you guys gotta put something at the last minute, so it's always like that. But I was say just a shout out because Alan came to see Whiskey River.
He did, wasn't that great?
We had so much fun hanging out. There's great pictures of us all lounged in a very whiskey set. It was great.
It was fun.
And he was so funny. So ashe to Alan, absolutely, to be here.
I love that word ashe. Tell me what that means.
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Oh, French.
No, I think it comes from like Yoruba, and it's sort of like
speak Yoruba. Can you go, Ray? I just asked you your name. I speak Yoruba. I lived in Nigeria. You weren't expecting that. But I don't know ashe. I like it though, Tim. We need to use that. Ashe.
No, ashe, it's sort of like a blessings type of thing.
I love this.
But
Thank you.
I kind of like it.
Thank you.
Yes. So it's all there. It's all the good vibe, That's how I think about it.
I'm a person that loves animals. How have you empowered animals in your production?
Well, in one way to look at my play, one thing that I think I might be saying is that humans tend to think of themselves as the top of the food chain, the most intelligent, and so on and so forth. But one of the things that really got me to really get into this play was this idea that that's very self-serving. Who are we to say that plants, for instance, are not more highly evolved? Or I'm not a scientist or biologist, obviously. But
you're not. That was one of the qualifications to come on. Oh, right. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I've done biologists.
Okay.
But
there you go.
But I think I am giving them a platform, as in saying, like, they are. I think of a creature like a crocodile. It's among the most ancient animals on Earth, and they're still around, and they're still fierce. And there's something to be said about the longevity. And I endow my croc with a lot of power, and with a lot of the sense of he controls things, and it's also the crocodile comes from the idea of when they first started building the sewers in New York City.
Yes.
There were all these myths of like alligators coming up and biting your butt.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I just love that. I love that shit. It's mythology,
right. urban mythology.
Urban mythology,
yeah,
which
urban
I think is very engages the imagination.
Right.
And you get crazy with it. I get crazy.
You get crazy.
And I'm sure you get crazy with it.
Well, the crocodile has always interested me for the same reason it interests you. They say we are all part of who our ancestors were before us. Okay. So the crocodile is really like a living old, really, really, really old.
Yeah, like to dinosaur time. Yeah.
Yeah, right, Tim, from dinosaur time. We don't have birds have evolved from dinosaurs. I don't know if you know that, but I have a parrot. When she's wet after a shower, her whole skeleton, and she looks exactly like something from Jurassic Park. Exactly. But they've evolved. They grew feathers and they're different. But the crocodile, I think, don't you agree, Tim?
Very
looks
similar,
like the way they I don't think they've changed very much.
Yeah. I don't know. But my actor playing Gramps, which is my crocodile.
That's T. Scott Lilly.
T. Scott Lilly. He looks nothing like this, but really, when you do see him,
you can hold it right up there.
Yeah, and this is an AI image that I actually came up with my limited knowledge. But you go on these apps and you just punch it in and it comes up with something. And then my friend Carolina put it all together. She did the art. I just did.
She did the whole graphics of the card. It's a great card.
Thank you. But T. Scott doesn't look like this. But sure, he makes me. I see this in him. It's amazing, and his we have some amazing costumes in the show. By
now, in addition to crocodile, what else? What other characters do you have, or what other animals?
Okay, my coyote is here. He'll come and tell you about being a coyote. We have.
He's such a coyote too.
Absolutely,
he's like
coyote and a skunk, and of course we have a rat, a New York
New York rat, yeah.
And there's one dog, the most pampered dog in the world, might just be a Manhattan a dog, and he's in my play. He's owned by 50 Cent. So,
so also in this, well, the rat. I have to read this line from the rat. Yes, we're rats, but we've never been slaves, and we still speak Norwegian. That's a reference to the Norwegian rats that we see in the subway, right? It's a comedy.
Of course. When I learned that the rats are called Rattus norvegigus, and it means that they're Norwegian. I mean, how is that not funny? That's totally hilarious. So yes, I had to work.
Does he sing that Norwegian wood song? Once I loved a rat, or should I say he once loved me? That was terrible. I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist.
Yeah, we kind of skipped the kumbaya vibe. It's not very.
Now, when is the show? What are the dates of the show?
We open tomorrow.
That's what I was thinking.
May 2nd to May 19th.
And I feel like it's a really good vibe that we're here on May Day. May
Day.
It's a beautiful thing. That's part of my dressing up today because we're gonna go. I want to go to Le Petit Versailles afterwards to the Beltane. And
aren't the Radical Fairies doing something today too?
I believe
they celebrate May Day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's a day of celebration, and it's wonderful to be here and talk about my crazy play.
Well,
we're having a lot of fun.
And that's why you're here. I mean, if you weren't here, what would we be doing? Dancing around a maypole, Tim? What?
Well, let's go.
Let's go dancing around the maypole. So, the storyline in this. Why did you bring 50 Cent in? Why that character?
Well, in a way, he's as much of a legendary a character as the New York alligator or crocodile. He's bigger than life, and I think he's awesome. I love his music, and the image around him is really great. And also, he's an entrepreneur. His whole thing with the vitamin water, that was his water before. So I kind of mess with that he's starting a new product that kind of threatens the natural order. So that's why 50 Cent is, and
50 I call him, right. It is 50. That's how he refers to himself. 50 Cent.
So if you're out there, 50, let's talk. I'd love for you to somehow get involved. And I'm putting out those feelers really for him.
Did you contact him though?
I haven't personally, but I've people around him that I know, and I'd love to see him there, or somehow be a part of our thing, because it's really funny. And if he's got a sense of humor, and I think he does.
Oh, I would think he had a sense of humor,
because he's a really cool New Yorker. That's why I picked him. And there's nobody like him.
Who's playing him?
He doesn't actually appear
on
stage. So only 50 Cent could be 50 Cent. So that's why I didn't include him. But he has a dog. It's a pit bull that's played by my friend Alec Pacheco. A beautiful a dog that the dog that everybody wants to touch. He's very beautiful, but he also works for the crocodiles. So there's a whole lot of
yeah. So he really can't be trusted.
Well, who does an animal really answer to? What's the real answer there? Is it
instinct?
Humans,
I think don't you think an animal answers to instinct?
Instinct, perhaps,
would cause the reaction that the animal has.
But if I were a dog, you're cool with your human. He feeds you, he treats you good, he buys you diamonds. You're good. But I might have a deeper understanding with somebody like a crocodile. I don't know.
Right. So the crocodiles lead us to a deeper understanding.
Yeah. As do coyotes.
As do coyotes. And our coyotes going to be coming on shortly. You're very involved with Theater for the New City. How did that all happen?
It started with the reading when I first read this play a few years ago. Machine Dazzle was playing Coyote.
Okay, and we love Machine Dazzle.
And I love him too, and he very gracefully agreed to do the reading, the stage reading, which was it was really good. It was a different play, but certainly having Machine involved was great, and I invited him to work on this production, but of course Machine's all over the world and he's fantastic. Yeah. So
he is just amazing. I know him from the Night of a Thousand Stevies.
Of course,
performs in that. Last year, I don't think he's so busy. Yeah. Where would he get the time? But that is so cool.
Well, you got to get him early. So
yeah, right. You got to grab him early. And a shout out to Crystal Field and all the amazing work that she does at Theater for the New City.
Yeah, she's still going, and there's no stopping her. I feel blessed and honored to be in. Not only that we work together, but somebody with that kind of history trusts me and likes me, and
has supported your work. That's why I asked you. How did you come about?
It started with that reading. I'd never even knew about the Theater for the New City, and then I applied for a reading, and they accepted it, and then I saw, oh wow, this is a really wacky place. I belong here.
I don't know how they missed you, JC.
Because Crystal at a Theater for the New City, she's really quite remarkable, and she's offered a platform for all kinds of new, fresh, original material, and it's really quite a space.
And
there.
What do they have? 3 or 4 stages there?
There are 4 stages.
4 stages.
4 altogether. Yeah.
And they have their Lower East Side Festival is coming up. I think the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th.
Actually, I'll be performing in that as well.
Me too. I'm doing the Friday night.
That's great.
Yeah,
I think I am too.
Sunday.
You guys will be on Sunday, but they contribute so much to the arts.
Yeah.
So support them. People need to come support them.
My big shout out about them is that it's been a place for really great artists to come through. My hero in playwriting is Maria Irene Fornes, and Crystal and Maria Irene Fornes work together extensively, and it's just great to be just on the other side of that, one of my great heroes, and Edward Albee also worked there, and Sam Shepard, blah blah.
Right.
It's for a playwright or any artist there. It's a great.
Well, and
great
the fact that they're still around, right? How many theaters have we seen close? And that place just expands, and you go in there, and there is such a vitality. And then there's art projects that happen in there as well. Theater for the New City is one of the places that makes New York such a special place. So
and you had also mentioned the Lower East Side Festival,
yes,
which is for the community. Which
thank you, Tim.
It's just endless artists and actors and performances all weekend long, and it was established especially just for the community.
For this particular community. So should we give you a little rest, and I will bring on Jay Walker?
Great. I love
and then
Jay.
we can bring all of you back at the same time.
Yeah,
have a big party.
I'm so happy to see you. Let me just take a little smoke break.
Okay, you're going to take a smoke break.
You go smoke. We'll talk to Jay.
Come back all cannabis out.
And we've got Jay
Walker with a big booming voice. One of the things I love about Jay, just in general, besides your presence, you have a very strong presence. You have a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
In a city where people mumble, come on, it's true.
It's true.
You're deep. It's really, and it just comes out. I never have a problem hearing you. So when people mumble, I know it's not me. I know it's them, because I can hear Jay Walker. I'm so happy to have you here. I loved your performance in Whiskey River. It was great.
Thank you. I love doing that play. Jonathan was such a close part of my heart, just really wonderful character.
It was a wonderful character for you to play on many levels. And one of the things I loved is having I'm a big person on Q&As. I'll tell you why. I find out about the actors. I like behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was great doing that Q&A.
Do you think we're going to have a Q&A for the Crocodile's Lair?
JC has mentioned that we're probably going to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thumbs up, says the person with the alligators on his head. The alligators are kind of shaking, and thumbs up. We're going to do a Q&A. How did you get involved in this play?
Well, I have been wrapped up into JC's world. Thanks to we met randomly through a weird circumstance.
And you have to share the weird circumstance.
Well, it was just that my dear friend Sarah Lilly, who is a member of Gays Against Guns,
right,
told me that her husband was involved with Theater for the New City, and they were doing this theater project in Washington Square Park in the summer of 2022.
Okay.
And that one of the people in this particular performance, it was about politics and history and education, that one of the people in the performance had borrowed a Gays Against Guns t-shirt from my good friend Ben Shepard, and would be wearing it in the performance. And so she suggested a bunch of Gays Against Guns folks show up in our Gays Against Guns drag. And we did. And after the performance, I said, let's go meet the guy who was wearing the Gays Against Guns t-shirt. And that was JC. And we took a selfie. And then JC asked me to text him the selfie. And then a couple days later, he texted me or called me. I can't remember which one. I said, hey, did you ever act? And I was like, no, I had 30 years ago.
Right. I remember that discussion. It was like, oh.
He's like, because I think you might be good for this play that I'm doing. And I was like, okay, I'll meet you. And I'm thinking, three lines and on 3 lines and then off. And then he hands me the script.
Yeah,
and I'm on every single page.
You were.
And so, but I loved working with JC so much. And he asked me to do another reading, not the reading at Theater for New City, the Machine Dazzle, whom I also adore, and I'm honored to follow in the role of Coyote. We did a reading for Crocodile's Lair at someone's apartment, and I did Coyote in that. And JC told us then that it was his hope that he was going to be able to mount a production, and so we all crossed our fingers, and it happened. And T. Scott Lilly, who was my friend Sarah's husband, was both in Whiskey River and is who I
remember, and he's playing. It's great.
Yeah.
So often, and Tim and I talk about this all the time. We all end up working with the people that are our friends. They're the people that we work with. First of all, it's delightful. It's all positive, and it gets you out of that Zoom audition, which don't even get me started. That sucks the life's blood out of you. What do you like best about playing Coyote?
Well, Coyote is Coyote is just a great character. He's a survivor. He does what he wants when he wants. He doesn't let. He's in some ways he's kind of like Jonathan in that these outside forces kind of push him down, but he's a survivor and he gets through it and he keeps going.
Right.
And so I really enjoy it. And all of the other actors in this production are wonderful.
Which is great.
It's just a
Makes
great
it a
community of
pleasure.
actors to work with.
Yeah. In your own personality, you look a little coyote-ish to me.
Well, I know this thing. I haven't shaved in a month and a half because just for Coyote. Yeah.
Right, but in your sensibility, I can see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I could not see you playing a skunk, not even in it. But there's something coyote-ish to your personality.
Yeah, you know, in the Coyote is the trickster, right? Like that's in many folklores, and being an activist, you're kind of a trickster too.
Right.
You're kind of manipulating situations. Right. And there's even a line that Coyote says, talking about how he manipulates with the best, and that's a lot of what activism is. It's manipulating people's emotional responses, which is also what acting is, right?
But except with activism, you yourself acting, you can do it for a role. With activism, it really has to be the truth.
It has to be the truth.
It's your truth. That manipulation can't be for an ulterior motive.
Correct.
That has to be.
Right. Because see, I knew you from the activism.
Yes.
And once again, our community is under attack. Our community, along with many others, seems to be under attack right now. So,
Tim, you've had recent experience with that.
Well, yes. We were planning a huge Pride event for Carnegie Hall, and as of November, all of the corporate sponsors were available. And in February, when we went to call them to send in the checks, every one of them said, no, we're not going to, out of fear of backlash, like with the rainbow beer can and the backlash from the right that they got, and the Target had a LGBT display or a Pride display and they got backlash. And it seems that there was a group of people that had warned the corporations against getting involved, and that has affected New York City Pride drastically this year. San Francisco Pride, Philly Pride had to cancel. Rehoboth Pride had to cancel due to lack of corporate funding this year. So,
and it's not just the Pride celebrations. New Fest this year,
right?
I think General Motors, a major car company. I don't want to say which one.
What's happening with New Fest?
Well, they're the major funder, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of funding every year, backed out, and we weren't sure. And I heard about this, and I thought that maybe it was because that they were fearing in advance, that they were just sort of being proactive, or But now it sounds like there has actually been a coordinated campaign, what you're saying, of political interest going to these corporations saying you better back out of supporting the LGBTQ plus community.
Oh, this is definitely after what Tim told me, because until you told me that, I had no idea. Most people don't.
Most people have no clue.
Definitely something that was planned and put together, and is very scary because this is all the Big Brother stuff that's going to coming at us.
Well, yeah, and it's Project 2025.
Right,
I mean, that's
exactly.
What I've been,
well, let's talk about Project 2025.
Share with, and I've been telling people, and there's more people than I thought are aware of it. But can you share with us, please?
Yeah, people are slowly becoming more and more aware of it. The Heritage Foundation, which is the preeminent sort of Republican hate tank, they call themselves a think tank. I call them a hate tank. They pulled together all of these former Trump administration officials and all of these, far right-wing Christian nationalist and white supremacist organizations together to create this 920-page document called Mandate for Leadership. Now, they did a very similar thing in 1980, leading up to Ronald Reagan's presidency. And after he was elected, they basically presented him with these policy proposals. 60% of what they presented to Ronald Reagan as their directives for policy got implemented by the Reagan administration.
I'm not surprised.
And so what the Project 2025 wants to do, they want to eliminate mention of LGBTQ people entirely. They want to imprison doctors for doing
abortions,
for abortions
gender,
and for helping transgender people live their true lives medically. They want to eliminate any discussion of race, which, it's this weird thing. It's this sort of thing where they try to sound like they're being, post-racial. Oh, we don't want to discuss race. But what happens when you do that is you stop making note of racist acts. You stop making note when people are discriminated against you by pretending that race doesn't exist. All the bigotry and racism doesn't get documented.
And you also erase history.
Yes, exactly.
Which is exactly what DeSantis did. First of all, it boggles my mind that the whole country was not up in arms about that. No, you can't erase slavery. Yeah. It's fact. All right. And next thing it'll be the Holocaust. Yeah. Okay. It comes from the same place.
Well, they banned Diary of Anne Frank.
Right.
They banned Mouse by Art
Spiegelman. Right. I was just looking at that book
it's not just Florida. It's every red state in the country.
Yeah, this is very scary stuff.
Doing this. And what people need to know is that all these little things that are happening in this legislature, that legislature, this is all coordinated, and this is all coordinated by the exact same people that wrote Project 2025.
This is 2025.
Huge. Remember years and years ago during the whole Clinton Whitewater thing, Hillary Clinton got on, I think, Good Morning America or something. She talked about a vast right-wing conspiracy, and everyone made fun of her and criticized her for being paranoid. The vast right-wing conspiracy is real. It is here. It is operable, and it could very well turn this country into a fascist, autocratic, nationalist horror show in a year. Well,
yeah, of course, because we have the election coming up,
and that's what the goal is.
Right, exactly.
Letting people. What were you going to say, Tim?
I was just going to say, in some way, and this is broadened, and hopefully, it's not just my conspiracy thinking here, but Black Lives Matter, for example. The outbursts, like with throwing bricks in the windows and all of this, the chaos that occurred, a small faction, but that's what made the news.
Right.
How many people do you know that actually take bricks to a peaceful protest?
Oh yeah, no, and
they were brought in. They were brought in.
And if you look, anybody can look up Umbrella Man, which was, I want to say it was in Milwaukee. It's the guy that sort of went to a store and started a fire at a store, and he hid himself behind a black umbrella. Well, eventually his identity was revealed, and it turned out that he was a white supremacist operative trying to besmirch the dignity of the Black Lives Matter by
doing that.
During the whole Black Lives Matter, again, the bricks were supplied. They were there in a place.
Thank you, Tim.
And outside radicals came in to create that. And they started all of that.
Exactly.
Now look at this campus right now.
Right.
Columbia University. If you'll notice, all of the tents seem to be looking alike, like they were all bought at the same place.
Thank you. No, thank you.
And they also barricaded themselves into a building on campus. How many college students do you know that know how to barricade themselves in and bring vending machines from one floor down to the other to put them? It all seems to kind of be related.
What I'd say to that is that information on activist tactics is readily available. This is not like the Dark Ages anymore. Everything is available on the internet. There are the movement against what's happening in Palestine is broad, and people are communicating across generations.
But my point is, the police also today said that there were outside people, agitators that came in that were causing this.
But whenever someone says outside agitators,
Right.
we need to remember Bull Connor. We need to remember every racist in the South
Right.
that blamed the civil rights movement on
That's
outside
true.
agitators. That is a tactic of oppression to say, oh, outside agitators. It's like the world is connected. Like students are connected to people who aren't students are connected.
But what I'm saying is it could all be part of the same
This bigger
umbrella of actions. Like, again, they're all unannounced, they're all secretive things,
and
just like what happened with contacting the corporations ahead of time to try to cut the LGBT.
I'm with Tim. I think it could this could all
be a part. It could all be part of the Project 2025 agenda. Is all I'm saying.
No, I would
You
not
don't think so?
No, I wouldn't say
that
no, I wouldn't say that the two are connected at all. I think that if you look at the 1980s and the activism against apartheid, if you look at the 1960s, the activism on college campuses against Vietnam, college students always lead the way. Yes, they have adults who are past college age who advise and who work with them on activities. That was happening in the 60s. That was happening in the 80s. It's happening now. It's like not people. You can't say that just because people that aren't active students at the university are involved in something that's something like super nefarious. It's like the world is connected. The internet connects everybody, and so people make connections across all sorts of lines. But going back to Project 2025, what I do want to let everyone know is if you go onto social media today, look for the hashtag May Day for Democracy, spelled out FOR, May Day for Democracy, and Stop Project 2025. The group I'm working with, Stop the Coup 2025, is trying to get those hashtags trending. We're just doing a barrage of information, news articles, memes, graphics about Project 2025, and hopes of getting more of the mainstream media to pick up stories about it.
Well, that was my next question. The mainstream media, very little about it.
Very little.
Are hashtags enough? What other strategies are you thinking of that will work?
Yeah, I mean the big thing is that what we see nowadays is that the big mainstream media, they're all corporate. They are limited editorially in what they can do by the corporate overseers. And our hope is that if we can get a hashtag trending, because they are responsive to trending topics on on the social media platforms, and so we're just trying that to see if maybe that will help get some traction and try to get like your ABC, your NBC, your New York Times, your Washington Post to actually do some in-depth reporting on this topic, because they've done, New York Times has done one or two articles, NBC News has done maybe one story, MSNBC is doing a lot, ABC hasn't done anything. I watch Nightline every night. I have not seen a single thing at Nightline about Project 2025. So there seems to be a concerted effort. When you talk about concerted efforts, there seems to be a concerted effort to keep this quashed. And so so what has to happen is the American people have to force the issue. And collectivism works like activism. It's like if enough people make enough noise, eventually the news media can't help but take notice. A group of activist groups, Gays Against Guns, Rise and Resist, Sing Out Louise, are all getting together for the second time on the 19th of May, in the afternoon at 1 p.m. On the Columbus Circle in the southwest corner of Central Park to do an education action about Project 2025, just to keep that.
How can people who might be interested in joining some activist groups, where would you recommend they look?
Everybody's on social media. Nobody can ever keep up with their websites, but but if nothing else, they keep posting on social media, so you can find.
Well, I meant, are there organizations you would recommend, or?
Sure. You could. There's at Gays Against at Gag No Guns.
Gag No Guns.
Gag No Guns on Twitter. Gays Against Guns NY on Instagram. Rise and Resist NYC on Instagram. Queer Liberation March at Queer March on Instagram. Those are all great organizations that are sort of keeping up with what's going on.
And what about Gag Radio?
Radio Gag.
Radio Gag.
With
Radio Gag. With Libby Edwards.
And Sarah Lily.
Sarah Lily, yeah.
So definitely you can look up Radio Gag. It's a podcast now.
Streaming. They're on all streaming platforms.
We're on all streaming platforms.
Wonderful.
You can just find Radio Gag that way.
Well, I'm wondering, did he finish with his smoke? Can he join us?
Yes, JC's back. Come on back.
Come on back.
But you might
move over
a little bit, but you got to get
all in. Yeah, it's tight here. It's what hello.
It's smoke and it's fire, baby. We got fire.
It's fire. So I have a question. Ooh, the two of you both have such strong personalities. How is that working with each other?
With humor. With humor, I think.
Well, Jay's brain moves so fast. He's so smart. And it's really wonderful because it challenges me. So he always asks questions that I'm always like, oh, fuck. They're good questions, so it makes me a better person. So that's it's good. It's never been ego or anything like that. I don't think you take things personally that I say or me to you.
No, we're all trying to make the show as
thank you. Right, you're all right. But,
so there haven't been any bitch fights.
Yeah. So
nobody's got cut yet.
But JC's done such an amazing job. I look at this. It's like a modern urban fable. He's like the Aesop of our age. That's what the show is. It's like
I love that
so much.
Yeah, Aesop with crack pipes.
In ancient Greece, it had crack pipes. Aesop, the tortoise.
Right, exactly. Oh my God, right.
We do have a tortoise in here type of.
I was going. That was my next question. Is there a tortoise in a hair?
Well, no, not exactly, but we have two creatures that are on a mattress fucking around and doing drugs all day. Like all of us creatures do. It's like yes. So it's not quite a tortoise in a hare, but yeah.
Can we expect to see any of these things at like a children's story hour with all these cute little?
No, I don't.
New York kids would be fine with
it. With Whiskey River, I told people with children, I said, it's very adult in nature, even though it wasn't like really like naked people or anything like that. But
the subject matter.
Basically, in Whiskey River, the whiskey wins is the hero, of the day, and it's very adult in nature. But this one, I think, is really kind of funny and there's lots of F-bombs and my language is very like Jerry Springer and
ish. I've been on the show, so I definitely have to see that.
And I like to throw in some Mel Brooks as well, because I think it's funny. But so I think it's conceivable kid friendly if you got cool kids, but if you're a school mom and you have a problem with the F-bombs around your,
you're like moms for liberty,
moms for liberty, stay the hell away.
For right now, leave the kids.
I was thinking of an action. The next Moms for Liberty meeting, people do the show outside of it.
Never mind.
What an action that would be.
A real subversive production of this show for Moms of Liberty. That'd be hilarious.
Be absolutely too funny. Did you come to New York to be a playwright? I know you drove a pedicab, which is I just imagine you with like the crocodiles on your head. It's like because a lot of the pedicab drivers are very colorful in personality.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure you were too.
Oh, absolutely. In my mind, it was so much fun to just be riding through New York City in your underwear and some crazy headdress. It was like it gave me the license to do that, and I think I learned a lot from that experience. The short answer is no. I did not think I would be writing plays when I moved to New York, but there's one person in our cast who has never done theater before, and she says, I'm here to be in New York to experience everything.
Absolutely,
and to grow and learn and that was sort of my attitude. I didn't know, and I still don't know. And things just happen, and you re-roll, roll and you go. It's, and
well,
you make
JC, when did you discover that you had a talent for writing?
Oh, well, that goes back. I mean, when I was in 7th grade, I would win these contests in English class. And I've always been, writing things all the time. So I have boxes of journals, going back years and stuff. So it's sort of like, you could think of it like a bad habit, but it's a good habit. But sometimes your compulsion is just to walk around with a notepad. It's a wonderful thing, and I do that. But
as you should.
But I'm also thinking like, well, this habit, or is it like? I mean, it's a little bit of both, a habit and a.
It's a calling.
It's
right.
interesting, Tim, because we've had Charles Bush on the show, and the process.
That's another one of my heroes.
It's right. It's a similar. I mean, Charles was just from the time Charles was young and had major influence in his life, and was creating. And Charles, his early stories. What was that theater he was at where he was doing all those farces early on?
I don't remember.
The Ridiculous.
No, but he was with them. But this was like
something like that. Yeah.
Lower East Side, hole in the wall, whatever. They never even knew if they were going to sell tickets or anything. Yeah. And
he wrote, his novel is based around that.
It's so incredible when you read the story. And to talk to you, I knew it had to be there originally, right? Because you were probably this kid that carried notes around and was writing all the time and everything.
Absolutely.
It's how to become creative writers or whatever. It's a way different process than when you have developed it organically, when it is in you.
Yeah, I don't know. I always believe that everybody has the ability to. I believe in the imagination. Imagination is everything, and you can go with it or you could fight it. Whatever, there's more than those two ways to go with it. But I'm a big believer in the imagination, and however it comes out. I mean, one thing I really love to do is, other than writing, I love to make things. Like I made this possibility.
So much.
But I also made like a lot of the props and a couple of costumes for our show, and I just love being in that process of you're just figuring out, okay, how am I going to make these crocodile toes work onto these Crocs, and where's the funny in it? How do you make?
Well, I have to admit, I really do like the headpiece. If I knew you were this talented, I would have had you make me something for Night of 1,000 Feet.
Honey, anything you want.
Well, I need something with a couple of doves by Saturday. A couple of white-winged doves. Right, of course.
I did make a really crazy bird for this show.
You made it.
Yeah.
What kind of bird? Can you share that with us?
Is it a grouse?
It's
a grouse.
A
grouse.
In the spirit of my show, like I was saying, that it deals with two worlds, with more the underworld and the surface world and what happens between, and that to me is a sense of trans. It transcends one to the other. And the bird that I made is a trans bird. It has leopard skin and feathers. You
did a combination of like a mammal with a bird.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
And a little Phyllis Diller thrown in.
Big.
Really, I wish I had the picture right here. I wish I would have brought it, because she does look like Phyllis Diller.
Was that your intention, or it just turned out that way?
That's how it came out.
The bird looks like
I saw it and said, "Oh my God, it's Phyllis Diller."
So tell us the name of the show and the dates again.
Sure. The show is called In Crocodile's Lair, and we open tomorrow, May 2nd.
Yay!
And we run until the 19th, or until they kick us out. I don't know.
At the Theater for the New City at theaterforthenewcity.net.
Yes.
They can always go there to find tickets.
Yes, absolutely.
My
question to you, Tim, is when are we going to do our next bridge walk?
We'll have to see. Yes, but I've also again, I will probably see you or may see you at the Lower East Side Festival.
Yeah,
the Theater for the New City.
Tim,
Yeah.
well, are you there Sunday? What
No,
day are
Friday.
you?
I think I'm there Friday also.
I'm there Friday night. I'm in the good cabaret room though.
Uh-huh.
Down in the basement where I did my first show there called Glory, Glory, Hallelujah was probably like 14 years ago. It was about how things were falling apart in the United States. And I had no idea what Theater for the New City was, but I remember walking down First Avenue. It was summer. I was feeling so good about myself. I'm like, I'm an actress. I'm doing a show at Theater for the New City. And I just remember the vibe that was there. And even since then, it has grown. It's the amount of work that that goes through there. It's incredible.
Well, and it's amazing because it's a professional theater, but it has the feel of a community theater.
Right.
It feels so open to the community, and that's why the Lower East Side Arts Festival is so important. But also, like the young woman that you brought in, that you were just talking about, that she was able to get involved with our production just because she was interested and wants to do theater, and it's so hard. Like New York, it's a little forbidding when it comes to community theater. Like
right.
But the Theater for the New City is this open, welcoming place for creative.
I agree. And again, they're open. Like I said earlier, they're open to new works. And to experiment with new things, and that's what I just love. I love that.
That's it. That's what it's all about in the arts. So you're getting ready to launch this. What is your dream ahead in your 5-year plan?
My dream is to be invited to dinner by Charles Bush and hang out with some really cool cats like y'all. And I'm living the dream. It's really quite nice.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I can't really think of anything more other than hip length Stevie Nicks boots or something. I don't know. That'd be cool.
I have them.
I'm sure you
Of course I do.
But also, if any of your viewers can't be in New York City to see the show, you can also support the show.
Yeah, we need money, honey.
Yeah, that was
Thank you. That's why I love James.
Okay, because he gets right to the point. I was going to ask that. How do you fund these things? Did you guys get a grant?
No, I applied for a grant. And I was really like gung ho, thinking, yeah, we totally fit it and everything. But of course, we didn't get it, and so it's all just been like trying to get what we can from friends and other sources, manipulating like a coyote.
Manipulative.
No. We did get some support from Fractured Atlas, but it's not like they're giving us money. It just becomes a platform that helps makes us look more legitimate,
And it's called Fractured Atlas.
But we'll talk about that off screen. But
They should know. The listeners should know to go, because you can go to fundraising.fracturedatlas.org.
There you go.
/tortas y tacones. And I'm sure Wendy.
I can't wait to say tortas y castone. Forget it. I have it right here, though.
So Wendy will post that link, and we, folks, we would appreciate any support that folks can give to the production to help pay off the debts that have been
that's the thing, is that people do not realize the cost to create art, especially theater. Theater is time consuming, a lot of rehearsals. It's live. You have to put a lot into the creation of a theatrical production.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Today is a day where I actually had some checks done, and one of them has this fella's name on it. And you're talking about the cost. I'm thinking of like, what's the cost of not doing it?
That's true.
True. So I feel very gratified, and I have no regrets about it at all. It's been a real spirited journey, and in every way, our designers have. Our set designer did something really crazy. And I think of like the woman who won the Tony for doing the lip syncing show.
Who was that?
Deirdre McDonald. I think
McDonald.
No, Deirdre.
Yeah. You said McDonald, her last name?
McDonald or
Madonna, yeah.
And she said something in her speech saying like, this is all about, going for your crazy idea. And that to me is really it. It's like,
You keep doing it.
Believe it and
believe
work.
it,
Believe it
yeah.
and work
Yep.
for it.
The
It'll
beauty
happen.
of New York, when I first came here and I was 14 years old, but you felt this feeling like everybody here has seen everything already, so you can be free as fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
and just be as free and as
Yeah.
imaginative, and it doesn't matter. I mean, of course it matters, but you know, you can't think of like, oh my God, I'm gonna look weird. No, you just do it, and it's beautiful.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
all of that inspires me. You know, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, when
Oh.
this is all done, I will send you the link, and you see
Wonderful.
this link over here.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to do links.
Uh-huh.
I
Cameron,
confess that.
Cameron,
I'm great at promoting, and I do your pictures, and I write great things, but I don't know how to.
Cameron,
So I'm sending you the
Cameron.
link to the show,
Okay.
and then
Oh, God, never mind.
put something
We'll
up.
put it in there.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Cameron knows how to do that.
Well,
Cameron knows how to do the link.
Oh,
Right,
fabulous.
right,
Well,
right.
we are so I am so appreciative of you, Tim,
thank you.
Thank
Wendy,
you both.
and Cameron
Of
there.
course.
Although I can't see you, I know that
Cameron
you're there.
keeps a
We know
low
you're there,
profile.
Cameron.
Cameron's
Yeah.
there.
We see you. We can see you.
Everybody
But-
involved. It's just been a
but-
wonderful experience, and it continues to be. You know,
Mhm.
we make it good. You know?
We make it good. I love that.
Well, JC Augustin and JW Walker, thank you so very much. We appreciate your coming on If These Walls Could Talk and talking with us.
Yes, and
Yeah.
thank you to everyone that
Thank
tuned
you.
in today. Make sure you see their show. Opens tomorrow, May 2nd, runs to May 19th, Thursday through Sunday, 8 o'clock on the other days, and 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Super.
All right.
All right.
Let's go get drinks.
Bye.
Yeah.